our powerhouse guest speaker for today. Melissa Clayton is CEO and founder of Tiny Tags, an online jewelry brand designing and creating personalized jewelry exclusively for mothers. Tiny Tags' mission is to celebrate children and each woman's unique journey of motherhood. Redefining mommy jewelry with simple and classic designs, Tiny Tags is adorned by celebrities and moms all over the globe. Tiny Tags has been featured in InStyle, OMAG, Refinery 29, Who, What, Where, NBC's Today Show, and many more. Melissa is also an inventor and holds a patent on her invention, the mat. The mat is the first and only foldable and collapsible mat designed to lay over a bathroom sink to create an instant counter. Featured on the Today Show and most recently on ABC's Shark Tank, the mat has been a game changer for thousands of women with limited or no counter space. As a former CPA who knew she had to break out on her own path, Melissa is committed to supporting other women in business and entrepreneurship. Melissa was a semi-finalist at the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year New England Regional Award and has been a speaker at the Massachusetts Conference for Women and the Female Founder Collective. Melissa holds a BA in philosophy from the University of Massachusetts and an MS in accounting and MBA from Northeastern. Melissa is a wife and mother to 3 boys and resides in Acton. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Melissa Clayton.
Introduction and for inviting me here. I'm excited to join and to go to all these events, so I can be a sponsor and all that, and to finally be in person after all these 2 years. It feels really an honor to be here. So thank you. I'm excited to share my journey today, and I always say I can only share my journey, what's worked for me and what hasn't worked for me, and I always hope that also in sharing the success, the mistakes I've made, that it will save people time, money, hopefully maybe inspire people to go for it if you feel intimidated by things like Shark Tank. And I just hope that I can always pay it forward. And myself, I turned 50 last year, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm 51 next week. I just got used to being 50. And I feel as I get older, it means more to me, more than ever, to pay it forward, be honest, be vulnerable, and share my journey. So thank you for letting me share that with you guys today. So as Pam was saying, my main company is actually Tiny Tags, which was not booked on Shark Tank. So I'll share a little bit about Tiny Tags because it has been my absolute heart and soul all these years. And why I like sharing my journey is somebody was saying here today that they started later in life. Well, I'm 51 next week, and I feel like we finally are just making it the last few years, Tiny Tags. I started the business over 15 years ago when my kids were little, and I took the slow route. And I think there's a lot of value in that, and I think we don't hear enough about the small businesses that are growing, that are passionate, but they're not going out raising millions of dollars and selling it for millions of dollars, and that they're enjoying the journey and the passion of growing a small business. So, it's taken me a long time to get where we are today. We're still a small team of 10. My husband joined 5 years ago, so we are truly a family business. My kids were making boxes in our office over the weekend, and it's been just an absolute beautiful journey for me. And I started 15 years ago, and for 7 years, it was really a mom doing everything on weekends. My husband would take the kids out for, to the park so I could do things. And it wasn't until my kids were in school that I said, okay, I laid this foundation, and now I was ready to build something. Because I say that to a lot of women. If you're a mom here, you get it. It's not easy to have a career, have children. And I always say you can have it all. I love that expression. You can have it all, but just not at the same time. So for me, it was really a gift to be able to start the business, lay the foundation, so that when they did go to school, and I'm so thankful I have it now, because now I have teenagers and I never see them, that I have something that I'm passionate about. So anyway, and the other thing I was going to say is, and I hope I can leave this in my little speech here, is that everything that's good that's happened at Tiny Tags and the map is because someone else paid it forward to me. I did not do this because, on my own. It has been someone reached a hand to me, and it's because I asked. I networked, which is why what you're doing here today and what I'm going to be part of is so incredibly important that women are supporting women. So anyway, so with that said, if I can put my glasses on. I was talking about being of service, and I sat next to one on the plane. I took a plane ride recently from Austin to Boston, and the woman next to me, the gentleman next to me, for the whole plane ride, we didn't look at a phone, we didn't look at a TV, nothing, and we talked. And it was wild, because that has never happened to me before. And the woman next to me was so inspirational, and I thanked her, because she really said she looked at her life as a way to give service. And you don't hear that very often anymore. And there's that hashtag blessed, you see a lot on social media, and she said, I don't look at, am I blessed? I look at my blessing to others. And that struck me. And again, it was because of a plane ride that you talk to someone that you get inspired. And I'm in that full circle, and I wanted to bring this story out, because when I decided to start Tiny Tags, I was living out west. I had my first son. It was like this giddy young mom who just wanted to have his name on a necklace. And bought one at a local store. It was hand stamped. And I was like, I gotta figure out how to do this. So I went online, and the internet was not what it was today. And I got all the supplies, and I gave up because I couldn't figure it out. 8 months later, I took a plane ride. I sat next to this woman, and truth be told, I didn't plan on talking to her. And then we wound up chit-chatting, of course. And she was a jewelry designer, in school for jewelry design, because I had no background in jewelry design. And I said, oh my gosh, I've been trying to make this necklace, and I can't figure out how to blacken the letters. And she gave me her business card, and she said, I work at a jewelry supply store in San Francisco. Come in, and I'll get you set up. And I did. She was not there that day. But the people there, I didn't even know they had jewelry supply stores. And if it was not for that plane ride and that conversation, I absolutely would not have taken the handstand kit out of the closet. So again, networking and talking to people can change your life, because everyone knows something that we don't. So I just love that story. And my other story to share is when I was in California, I was visiting my sister, and I was taking a plane ride. I was taking a train ride from San Diego to LA. And I was on the platform, and I could tell this other woman was going to the same mom's conference that I was. It's called Mom 2.0. And I was like, do I want to say hi, or do I want to sit on my phone for 3 hours on the train? And I said, Missy, you didn't come all this way to sit on your phone. Go talk to her. So I sat next to her, and I got on the train. And we sat, got to know each other, exchanged information. 4 months later, 5 months later, she emailed me, and she said, hey, my PR person needs another company to go on Fox News, national Fox News, on Saturday morning for Small Business Saturday. Are you interested? And I was like, yeah. And we went on there, and did $65,000 in sales that day because I talked to a girl on the train. Because it wouldn't have happened if I didn't. So it blows my mind. Anyway, okay. Okay, so now I'll get to the math. So Tiny Tags, I think I wrapped that up. That is my heart and soul. And the last thing I'll say about going slow is when I've been talking recently, I've said, when I started the business 15 years ago, I was this exciting young mom. And what it is now, next right, make sure you can't cry, it is so much more than that. We are a community that are talking about loving yourself first so you can show for your children. And that's not something I could have workshopped 15 years ago. And I have grown from our communities and the stories that women have shared, purely paid forward, talking about postpartum. A mom shared her story of giving her child up for adoption to make a mother and mom not feel ashamed of that. And that's what has been the beauty of going slow, is that you have those relationships and you grow like that. So, see, I didn't cry. Great. Okay, I did a poll on social media this morning, and I was like, who thinks I'll cry? Because I typically cry when I talk about work. Okay, so then getting to the math has been another very slow journey. We were living out west, as I was saying. We moved back to New England. We're from New England. In 2011, we moved out to Acton, and I still had a small bathroom. And I was like, why do I always have a small bathroom? Because out in California, everyone's got big bathrooms because all the houses are new. So our house was built in the 60s, and I just started saying there has to be a better way. And again, just sort of talking with other people, and people I'm tired of putting my hair dryer on the toilet bowl. I'm tired of putting my makeup around the edges of the sink. And I just started to kind of there's got to be another way. So again, being persistent, I just started cold calling industrial designers. And a lot of men, literally I remember this one guy was like, we do work for Procter & gamble. I don't think you have the money to deal with us. And I was like, all right, goodbye, hang up with you, and just didn't give up. And I wound up finding an industrial designer in Acton, of all places. I'm like, how do you live in Acton? And he worked, he had done a lot of suitcases, so the mat is very much, the mat is basically, I should have brought one, I'm sorry, but I apologize. It's a foldable, collapsible mat. It's got like PVC in the inside and like a full leather, and it's super simple. It unfolds, lays over your sink, creates a counter, and then unfolds into the size of an iPad. And the patent that I got was on the fold, so that's how it has its strength. And I use mine every single morning, and I get ready in like 15 minutes. So it really has been a game changer for me personally, which is still every morning I'm like, this is hysterical that I'm covering things for a living. But anyway, so that with the mat, I kept picking it up, putting it down. I started looking into getting a patent, and that's very expensive, so I saved up money to get the patent. I mean, I think we spent probably like $10,000, $15,000 to get the patent. And then and I would have all these little wins, you know. I talked to someone else at a Tiny Tech show. She goes, oh, I'm a makeup artist at Sephora. I was like, oh, I have this product, the mat. And I said, my dream has always been that it would say the mat for Sephora. Noticing that it would say the Sephora private collection for the mat or something like that. And she, of course, gave me contacts. We wound up working with Sephora. They botched it. It didn't do well on their website because they just put it out there without before and after shots. But it still happened, so that was pretty amazing. Anyway, so then in 2015, I applied. The Today Show had the next big thing contest. And I was like, all right, I got nothing to lose. So I applied, got on that, and it was the day that Donald Trump was there campaigning. So it was this very, very weird day, because like the Secret Service was there, and my dad wanted to hold up a sign. I said, Dad, you cannot like get involved. Anyway, it was a very weird day. Went out there, and I thought, I'm like, I'm gonna go on the Today Show. Like, I'm gonna be a millionaire tomorrow for sure, because we're gonna have so many mats. And I was shocked how little people, like, there's so much content coming at people that it is amazing how little sales. I think we probably did like maybe 40, 50,000 in sales, which is amazing, but I thought it was gonna be like, I was like, Mike, we're gonna sell like hundreds of thousands of these things tomorrow. We're going on the Today Show. So I did that, and that was great, and we had our little, our big lip back. And then I kind of got busy with Tiny Tags. And then in 2017, I had reached out to my alumni association in Massachusetts, because one of the women on there had been on Shark Tank twice. She had done City Kitty and then this like hoodie gadget. She's like, you've got to apply for Shark Tank. So my husband and I decided to do this very corporate video application. And my poor husband was like just stone cold. I had like a suit on, and it was super boring, and we didn't get very far. And then the same friend reached out to me. She's like, they're doing the applications again. Just try again. So I told my son, I'm like, Trey, grab your phone and just film me. And I went up in my bathroom, and I did it in like 10 minutes. I think we did like 2 tries. And I was just myself. And I think the first thing I said, if there's a bunch of men watching this video, pause it and go get the women, because men will not get what Matt does. And she's like, we loved that introduction. So did that and kind of kept going, and then before you know it, and I got on, and I filmed in April of 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. It was September of 2020, 19. When was the pandemic? 20. Anyway, so I had a quarantine in Vegas for 9 days by myself, and to me that was probably the worst part. I was like, she's like, you cannot even go down the hallway to get ice. I'm like, 9 days in a room by myself, like that's not my jam. But my husband's like, I think you can handle this, just go, we can go on Shark Tank. So I went, they were amazing. Could not leave my room for 9 days, and they brought us food, couldn't even go down the hallway to get ice. They were very gracious though. And then I filmed the morning of the 9th, and I sat in a room all day, because I was the last person to go, from like 9 a.m. And this is when like everybody was just like in a corner, nobody was talking, masks, COVID test constantly, and my heart was coming out of my chest. Went out, and I went back up, and said, I had talked to so many women. I had 3 women that had already been on the show that had worked with me the whole time I was in my hotel room, coaching me, telling me how to deal with Mr. Wonderful. They're like, he's gonna hate this product. I'm like, okay. So she's like, don't even acknowledge him, just keep moving on. I was like, all right, and he certainly did. He said, I would burn this thing, this is the stupidest thing ever, and I just didn't even acknowledge Rory, and then Kendra Scott was the guest judge. And I have tiny tags, so I was like, oh my God, like you're my idol. Anyway, so I went out there, I was incredibly nervous, and they had actually said, do you want to put water in one of the cubbies to hide water? And I was like, oh, I'll be fine, I guess, right? I got to one point, I couldn't even speak, I'm like, I have to get water. And I was shaking, it was very dramatic. It was very loud when it was over, and I did a deal on TV with Rory. So this is the stuff I think is interesting, right? So I talked about people, they're like, it's TV, reality. So on TV, I did a deal with Rory. So I had went in and I asked for $100,000 for 20% of the business. And then everyone said no, no, no. And then I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to feel like I gotta get a deal because I came all this way, you kind of feel like a loser if you don't get the deal. And Lori's like, well, I want 33%. And I was like, would you take 30? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, 33 it is. You know, like that was the deal. So we hugged, we did not hug, we did like the high five in the air, and then we walked off, and then we went home, right? And now this is the part, people that deal with inventory out there, I don't know who deals with inventory, but it was, you could film and not air, right? So you could go and spend $80,000 in inventory, and then the show doesn't air, and then you're stuck with it. And I had talked to one woman that had happened. She said she spent $1 million in inventory, and then the show got pulled. But Sarah Blakely was her coach, and Sarah Blakely pulled strength and got her episode to air. So that was pretty amazing. But that was the big question my husband and I were dealing with, because our inventory would take 6 months to get here. So I went home and I was like, Mike, I got a deal on TV, so I think I might air. And they told us, like, if you're not entertaining, because that's why everyone acts so excited, then your episode won't air. So, like, that's why you're jumping up and down over everything. So we decided to order, I think we ordered like 15,000 units, which was close to, it was like $7 a unit. It was a lot of money for us to outlay and hope that it aired. And they only let you know 2 weeks prior to whether it airs. So in between this time, we started doing the due diligence, and I wasn't surprised, but they were like kind of getting cold feet. And then 2 days before the show airs, I get a call from Lori's husband. And he's like, oh, hey, sorry, I meant to call you, but we're not going to move forward. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and you should raise your price. And I was like, and this is a good conversation of pricing, by the way. And he's like, you don't have a business at $24.99. I was like, it cost you, and this is true, it was costing us $9 to get the mat, between $7 and $9 to get the mat to my house, coming from China. It cost me, I had to go priority mail, so it cost me $8 to ship it. He goes, you don't have a business selling at $24.99, you don't have enough margin. He's like, raise the price to $34.99. I'm like, I say on TV it's $24.99. He's like, doesn't matter, they'll buy it anyway. I was like, okay. But what was so funny is my husband and I, the day before, were hemming and hawing because we're like, we're not really going to make any money. Like, our costs are so high, it costs so much to shipping, and we wanted to squeeze in some shipping charges. And then we're like, no, people won't buy it if we add in $2 of shipping. And then he was like, raise it to $34.99, and we did. And we sold out. We had a little glitch on Amazon. So we, and I say only $130,000 because he said to us, you're going to do $300,000 in sales when it airs. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I couldn't believe that we could do that much in like 2 days. We only did 130, which is considered probably a not that great Shark Tank world. Some people have done $1 million in a month, depending on the product. We had a little bit of an inventory glitch, and then we did sell out, and it was what it was, right? And we had to wait 6 months. And then they decided that they weren't going to move forward, but it was still obviously an amazing experience, and wouldn't change it for the world. And just so thankful to all the women that helped me prepare for it, because I felt like I at least gave my best foot forward, because so many women helped me. So that was, and so now today, so the mat was sold on Amazon. It is my little baby, I love it. In all transparency, my 7-year-old son, is his main job, is he ships it to Amazon, and we have our own website. So I know we all have this love-hate with Amazon. I kind of love-hate it, I guess, but it is insane that with this algorithm they do, they just push the mat out to people that they know will buy it, which is wild to me. But it's been a wonderful experience, and you know, as far as it's given my 7-year-old son, I've gotten to see my older son to run the business and feel like he does the customer service. So it's been an absolutely fun run. But as journey of the mat and the tiny tags, I think the thing that has always come back to is how many women have helped me, and that is what I'm also thankful for. And being in here and being able to share is just such a gift. So I really thank everyone for giving me your time today.
Questions from the stage today?
I have a question.
Yep.
How do you compete with tiny tags now that it seems like jewelry companies are all over Instagram and doing what you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I listened to a book called Brand Warfare probably about 10 years ago, and in that book it was like light bulbs going off. At the time, tiny tags, we had a gift guide, and this gift guides for brides, for graduates, for dads. I was trying to make a keychain for dad. And that book was all about knowing what you care about and finding focus. And I literally went home and I deleted everything but to do with moms. So we are very much, we say we are personalized jewelry for moms. Does that mean we don't have brides and graduates not buying us? Yes, but we're 100% focused on moms. And that to me is how we stand out, because we are focused on building a brand, not just on jewelry. And people that are part of our Tiny Tags community absolutely feel that way. I had a woman DM me, her dad passed away that day, and she was wanting to find jewelry to celebrate him and honor him for her family. So that's by being focused. And it is very hard though, because, you know, Father's Day is billions of dollars in product. And I know I could sell, you know, I could do a keychain or something to our moms for their husbands or their partners, but that would dilute the brand. We launched the Pottery Barn Kids 2 weeks ago, and I think they worked with us because they knew who we were. So I love that quote, when you try to be everything to everybody, you're nobody. So that's how we compete.
Tell us the name of the book again.
Brand Warfare. And the other thing is, I will plug our jewelry, is our jewelry is all made in Providence, and most personalized jewelry companies do diamond drag. Our product is incredibly labor intensive, it takes longer, and it's very hands-on. I have dads order stuff, and our customer service team will email them and be like, that's wrong. You can't put one kid's name on the front and one on the back. You know, like, no, Dad, that you got it wrong. And most companies will do that. And that's something we care about because it's in our heart, it's in our team's heart, it's in Kate's heart, our marketing manager back there. We care about our community, and we have relationships with our moms, so that's, you know, how we are different.
So I have a question. I have an idea of a kitchen ware. Do you encourage me to continue by executing it or not? Do I need a lot of investment? Do I need a lot of capital to put into it, or do I need to search for an investor to execute the idea?
So we never took on investors, so I really can't speak to that. And I was fortunate, like with Tiny Tags, it was not a very capital-intensive business, and because we went slow, I was able to save up money and we were self-funded. And the same with the mat, you know, I was able to take the money that I had saved to get the patent and to order inventory. So would my story be different if I had to outlay, was you said $20,000? Is that what you said your initial investment has to be?
I will not specify.
Yeah, so I think if dealing with investors is probably somewhat better to deal with, to answer that question, to be honest, because I haven't dealt with investors. And part of that was, and I have said, you know, could Tiny Tags or the mat be bigger and better today if we had taken outside money? Absolutely, right? We could have bought more Facebook ads and done it, you know, been a lot bigger. But for me, I never wanted that. I wanted to be able to have the intimacy of being a small business and enjoy the journey. So.
Other questions?
Why did Rory back out of the deal? Did she give you a reason?
No, she didn't, but in all transparency, I understood. If she was following me on the Tiny Tags and the mat on social, she could see where my heart was. I had sort of pitched that I had built Tiny Tags and then I was now going to pivot to the mat, and I think they probably could very well see. And I think they would say we're a product, we're a business, which is true. Like, we're not really a business, we're this product. this kind of tchotchke product that is really fun and solves, I think, a universal, it has amazing potential, put it that way. And we're doing the best we can while still growing Tiny Tags, so.
Nancy?
I have a question. What was the timeline like from the day you sent in your film to when you heard back from them to when the show aired? Is this like a long process?
So I'm gonna try to get my dates right. Really, I've been already messing them up. So I know I filmed in September. It aired in April. Okay, so that was what, September, October, November, December. So it's quite a few months. And I pitched it in the beginning of the summer. So it was almost, I'd say 10 months from application to the day it aired.
So I know from investigating Shark Tank that there's a percentage of your business that they do acquire when you go on that show. When they rescind your offers, do you still have to uphold any of that?
No. Because that's what we were saying. We're like, they don't even own any part of this business, and now we're going to go air in a week, and we had never heard from them. So yeah, we had to give them no money. So.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Melissa, thanks so much for sharing your inspiring stories and your journey and kind of what keeps you going with your business. That's terrific. And I know we can all benefit from hearing your story. You take some time, if you haven't already, to visit Missy's table over there. And she has generously offered a 20% discount code. So if you want the code, go over to the table and give you the code, and it is good for 48 hours from today if you would like to purchase some jewelry. And now, I'd like to turn the program over to our fearless leader, President and CEO, Ace Bell Ringer.
So I really want to thank Melissa for coming to speak. I mean, I thought her story had some interesting twists and turns, but most importantly, she talked about the connection she made, not being fearless, being able to talk to everybody, create a product out of love and passion. So it inspired me to think about all the things that we do every day. Some of you are business owners, some of you work for other companies, but who you sit with, who you talk with is a game changer. So we're so happy to provide those networking opportunities to you. I love it when we get together because I always learn something. I had a good opportunity to talk a lot with a new member and talk a little bit about her journey before she came and became a member. So my new BFF, Laura Robinson, we learned a lot about you today. So I love learning your personal stories. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's coming up next. First of all, we're so excited to be back to these monthly networking events. We are going to be back here in May, and it's the second Tuesday of the month. And our guest speaker, so let me ask you this. Who's feeling a little stressed out lately? Who feels like they're on that hamster wheel? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So what do we think? We think we should bring a guest speaker to talk a little bit about stress and mindfulness. And so we have Emmy Monticelli. She's a leadership coach, and she's the founder and CEO of Momentum Leadership Solutions. So she is going to talk to us a little bit about being on that hamster wheel, the demands of our jobs, the hectic schedules, and how we can have an interactive kind of a program when she comes. So it's not just going to be her speaking to you, it's going to be a little more interactive. So how we can learn to be mindful about de-stressing. So that is going to be here on May 10th, and it's going to be right back at Sebring Keys. It's going to let you on a little inside scoop. We're not able to have this room. So we're going to be in a smaller room. So that means if you want to come, sign up first. First 50 people are going to be able to get in. So normally we don't like to do that, but he has something else going on in that room. So if you're going to come, sign up right away. Also, we just did a little bit of what a commercial should look like when you introduce your business. You got 60 seconds to talk about it. Tomorrow, we're doing a free webinar from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. for all the chamber members. It's free for you. How to make your 60-second commercial clear and concise. So this is a wonderful webinar for you to go to. She's also picked, our speaker is Allison Chisholm, who's one of our BFFs. She's going to also make it interactive, give you the tools on how to master that 60-second commercial. So if you haven't signed up for it, it's free, go onto our website to do that. And also for any of you that are great networkers and love to network, on April 27th, we're doing something very unique and different. We're going to the New England Baseball Complex in Northborough, and we have partnered with Discover Central Massachusetts. They're inviting their members, we invited all of our members. It's purely networking, it's called Coffee Connections. It's a morning networking event. It's going to start at 8:30 a.m. and it's going to go to 10. So a cup of coffee, light refreshments, and a great way to meet some new people. So any of you that are early risers, this is something a little different that we haven't done in a long time. Networking just over coffee. So we hope you'll join us for that. And finally, as you can see, Melissa had an exhibit table. That is available to all of our members who would like to exhibit at an event. We're bringing back that tradition. You can be an exhibitor at one of our events. You can sponsor the coffee like Cornerstone Bank. You can be the coffee sponsor. So anybody that's interested in doing that can speak to Laura and what the advertising benefits are with that. But if you'd like to get more exposure during one of those events, it's a great way to do it. And now I want to give away some raffle prizes. How did you enjoy the networking portion of today's program? You like it? So we thought we'd give a couple of bottles of wine away today. So a couple of prizes to give away. So thank you for doing it. Which one of you got to be Mr. Wonderful today? That's what I want to know. All right. And the winner is, for the first bottle, Elizabeth LaPointe. Wow. There you go. Right over there. Two at the same time. Julie Oliveri, you're the second winner. Congratulations.